Hey everyone, welcome to the Rise and Above podcast, a platform for you to share your story. Oftentimes, we all have something that happens to us in life and we have no way of sharing. Many people want an outlet, whether it's writing a book or going on a massive networking platform or starting an inspirational social media account. With the Rise and Above platform, anyone with an inspiring, motivating, or interesting story can come on and share. It could be anything from the struggles of starting a business, the struggles of overcoming homelessness or mental illness. I've interviewed victims of rape, sexual assault, and abuse. There is no subject that is off limits. This platform offers a safe and fun way for you to share your story through a one-on-one experience. If you would like to share your story, the best way to reach out would be through social media. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook or through email. All the links will be provided in the show notes. Thank you for listening. Welcome to the Rise and Above podcast. My name is David Hess, and today I have Nat Spinz with me. She is a local performance artist here in, I guess, mid-Michigan area. I don't really want to talk too much. I want to let her explain what she does. So I guess with that being said, how are you doing today, Nat?
I'm doing very well. I got my Starbucks here, so I'm feeling pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I don't have Starbucks, so I'm not on your level yet.
Dang it.
It's okay. I had like 4 cups of coffee today.
Okay.
So
you're feeling
I'm feeling
as I am right now.
Yeah, and if I had coffee, I wouldn't sleep tonight. So.
Oh yeah. I think I drank this too fast because I'm like, woo, let's go.
That's the problem with like a flavored coffee like that. You just suck it down.
Right. Exactly.
And then you got to pee a lot, and then you're just full of energy.
Yep. Pretty much.
What kind of coffee is that?
So I am a basic witch, and I got myself a pumpkin spice latte.
You can swear on this podcast, just so.
Oh, sweet. Good. Yep.
So it's a pumpkin spice latte?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a pumpkin person.
I am. I love the fall very much. It reminds me of fuzzy socks and grandpa sweaters and reading a book under a big cozy blanket. It's just like a comfort season.
Next to the fire.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, that's as basic as you can get for fall.
Yep. That's me.
Now, you're from the mid-Michigan area. Where are you from? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I grew up in Lansing,
Okay.
but I live in Charlotte. I always tell people Lansing is my arts community. Like, that's where my community is, and Charlotte is where I rest my head.
Why did you choose Charlotte?
I love Charlotte. It's cool because it's got everything you need out there, like stores-wise and community-wise. There's a lot of great
Doesn't have a Starbucks.
I know, they have a Big B, but, we have a small business. It's called Evelyn Bay Coffee Shop.
Yep.
And it kind of makes up for it. They have some good coffee out there, so
they do have good coffee.
Can't hold against Charlotte that they don't have a Starbucks. They also don't have a B-Dubs, which I'm personally offended about, but maybe someday. I'm hoping.
I would think that's probably the next chain that's going to go there because they have every single fast food joint possible.
Right. I'm sending it out into the universe right now. Charlotte needs a B-Dubs and a Starbucks. Yeah.
That's funny. So you're from the Lansing area. Were you born and raised here?
So I was actually born in Stockton, California.
Oh, wow.
And came to Lansing, Michigan when I was just a wee bairn. And grew up for the most part, on the south side of Lansing. And then I went to, when I was about 12 or 13-ish, I moved to the west side of Lansing and went to Waverly.
Okay. So when did you graduate?
I actually...
Is that your phone?
Oh,
How dare you?
I can't believe... And you know what? It's my boyfriend, Matthew, and he knows better right now.
Do you need to send him a text message or something?
No,
okay.
It's okay. He'll be okay. He'll fare well on his own for a little while. So I actually ended up dropping out of school and getting my GED because I just wanted to do my own thing, and
okay.
I didn't really like school very much.
So what was your own thing? What did you decide to do?
Well, I don't think I had a direction for the longest time. I had a really strange upbringing, and...
How so?
So, single parent household. The single parent was a drinker, and
can you pull the mic a little bit closer?
Yeah.
You can literally just drag. Yeah, you can drag it wherever you need. It moves.
It's not gonna hit me in the face. Okay.
Nope.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yep. So I grew up in a single parent household. I was a single mom, raising 2 kids. She had a drinking problem a bit, and the household got quite tumultuous at times. It wasn't very often that I wanted to be home. And so I guess doing my own thing just depended on the day. I really liked being around other people, and I had an appreciation, I guess, for just being outside and walking and seeing different places. And I was lost for a really long time, so I didn't really have a direction. It was just I didn't want to go home. Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
So how is that relationship now? Do you guys have?
I don't have a relationship with my mother anymore, and it's not for lack of trying. It's just what's healthier, I think, for both of us to not really have a relationship.
And it's a tough thing to come to realize that somebody who should be of importance like that,
Right.
you can't have a relationship with.
Yeah.
It's
it
difficult.
Is. It is hard. And basically, what it came down to is, throughout my life, for most of my life, I was living for other people, trying to make family members happy and trying to seek approval. And even though I was living, for the longest time trying to live like a cookie cutter life, as I got into my like early 20s or so, I settled down, I got married, had kids, we had the house, and like all of these things that still, like inside, I didn't feel good about myself or my life. Like it wasn't what I wanted for myself. And this is what my family pressured me kind of to do, and still didn't get the approval that I was really looking for.
Well, it's kind of the lines of society, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of what society pushes is, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go to college, get a degree, have
Right.
kids, get
Yes.
married, buy a house, have a white picket fence.
Yes.
And I mean, in reality, that's not necessarily what makes you happy.
Right.
But you get kind of too involved in life, get
Yeah.
wrapped up with all this debt, and you have
Right.
kids, and you just kind of can't leave that lifestyle and kind of go and make or kind of do what makes you happy.
Right, exactly. And so I just kept doing these things that it looked like made other people happy, but inside it wasn't feeling very great for me. And so after my second child, it was in going into 2016. I suffered from postpartum depression for a long time, and I just couldn't. It was like to this point where I couldn't really drag myself out of this depression. And so I'm like I said, I'm a basic bitch. I like New Year's resolutions too. So they really work for me. So going into 2016, I made myself like a short list of things that I wanted to work on, to try to heal myself if I could. If not, then I was going to resign to taking antidepressants if I needed to. It was kind of my last, my worst case scenario if I needed to. Not that there's anything wrong with it if people do take them. It's just for me, I wanted to see if it was environmental more than chemical.
Right.
So, because I knew I came from that like weird background, and it could have just been an accumulation of things that affected the way that I was feeling and the pressures I was putting on myself.
Right.
And so I needed to find a thing, something to bring color back into my life. About halfway through 2016, I had already tried several different hobbies like yoga and wire working and different.
What's wire working?
Wire working is like, it's literally, have you ever seen like wire jewelry where they might have a stone or something that's wrapped in wire?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff. And I made these cool like elf ear type things that,
Oh, cool.
that you just kind of hook onto your ear, and they have the little points and little dangly things and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But then about halfway through 2016, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw somebody hoop dancing, and they were hula hooping around their shoulders, and they did this little duck out thing, and then the hula hoop went around one shoulder, and then they popped their head back in, and they kept dancing. And I'm like, that is so badass. Like, I want to try that. And literally that day, I looked up how to make dance hula hoops, and then I went and bought all the accoutrements for that at the Home Depot, and I haven't stopped since. And that was in 2016, and it's brought a lot of color back into my life.
Literally, because
Literally,
it's on fire.
it's on fire. Yeah, and it's crazy because like at that time, before hula hooping, I was very isolated. My partner at the time was not very supportive of my dreams outside of the family environment. Very conservative views. stay home with the kids. I was homeschooling. I was,
Oof.
yeah, and it was hard work, with three kids. I had a stepdaughter at the time too. And I didn't get any time for myself because I was feeling pressure from myself to portray this image of like I'm keeping it together with the family stuff, and then pressure from my husband. And it really took a lot to break through that, and like untangling his opinions and other people's opinions and all that stuff from the way that I viewed my life and myself. And I've kind of paved my own way from there, and I'm a lot happier now. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So going back to when you first started hula hooping, you went and bought all the material to make hula hoops.
Yes.
How do you make hula hoops?
So the way that I made them was with irrigation tubing. It's that they come in 100-foot rolls at pretty much any hardware store.
Okay.
It's that black irrigation tubing, and a 100-foot roll makes about 10 to 15 hula hoops, depending on the sizes you make.
Okay.
And you just cut them, and then you put them together with a male-to-male coupling. And then I secure them with rivets because if, over time it wears out and they can open up while you're trying to hula hoop, and it's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah. And then if you want to get all fancy with it, you can put fancy tapes on it, or just electrical tape is what I use a lot of times.
So so you watched a video on somebody hula hooping.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a professional?
No, it's actually somebody I went to high school with. She also taught me guitar back in high school, which is something that I use now too. But yeah, so it was a friend of mine. I just happened to be scrolling through Facebook, and I saw one of her cute videos of her hula hooping, and I started picking her brain, and she taught me a couple things, and then I learned the rest from YouTube, and then finding my community.
So there is a community of hula hoopers in mid-Michigan.
Oh my gosh, yes. There's a ton of us, and we have festivals and stuff too. Yeah, if you want to learn hula hooping, there is a huge hoop dancing community. Flow arts in general. It's not just hula hoops, it's different props too.
Okay, like what?
So there's poi, which is basically a ball on a string. It comes in a set, and people like spin them around and do different shapes and designs with the poi, and they do tosses and all kinds of crazy stuff.
How do they learn this?
Lots of practice. Community helps. I'm telling you, if you can find your community, you can learn things so quickly, because then you can get feedback that you wouldn't get in a YouTube tutorial.
Right.
But that's how I learned so quickly is, oh, that's a sweet trick. Can you teach me that? Okay, I'm getting stuck in this part. Give me feedback. What am I doing with my body that's wrong?
Right.
Yeah. So that's the best way to learn it. So
with hula hooping, you obviously have to move your body a specific kind of way. Like you're dancing,
right.
Essentially. You got to be like free moving.
Yes.
Do you stretch? Do you do any kind of exercises to strengthen certain parts of your body to make it easier?
So I would recommend stretching. I don't always stretch, which is bad. There's definitely stretches you can do with a hula hoop. There's actually this awesome yoga teacher who does this yoga and hula hoop mashup. Her name is Jenny Wags, or Jenny Wagaman, but she's Jenny Wags on Facebook and Instagram, and she does yoga round, and you can do stretches with the hula hoop and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
But then as far as like strengthening it, what it comes down to is like muscle memory. So when I first started hoop dancing, I couldn't hoop at all. I couldn't hula hoop on my waist. It just was a matter of practicing and trying to build that muscle memory. And then over time, it's just second nature, and you can do it.
Okay.
It's just practice. Yeah.
How many hours, or how long every day do you practice? So
right now, I would say I don't practice every day right now, just because I just got out of my busy season. So I'm kind of in a time of rest, but I would say on average 1 to 2 hours a day, if I can fit it in there. But this is my job. Like probably the average person wouldn't have time to do it that long.
You make money doing this.
But this is my job. Yeah. I bought a house last year doing this. This is I'm building my life on this. Yeah. That's awesome. Huge blessing. Like I still look at it and I'm just like, how did this happen? Because I'm telling you, I hit rock bottom, and then I rebuilt my life on this. And I have more time with my kids. I'm doing things that I love. I'm helping my community. I'm getting other performers jobs. Like they're being paid to do this. And yeah, Yeah, I look back on my life sometimes and I don't know how it happens. I feel like a Disney princess or something. Like this isn't real.
Well, I mean, oftentimes when someone's unhappy and then they make a conscious decision, like, all right, that's it. I'm not happy. I need to change. I need to make some sort of decision to where my life is going to change drastically.
Yeah.
And then you start going a certain way, and you find something that helps you kind of leave the situation you're in, or helps you emotionally. And then you put all your energy and effort into that.
Right.
And then it just becomes something because you're putting everything into that.
Yes.
And then you end up where you are now.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. It's been a long process. I did a lot of working for free to kind of build my, I've always had horrible stage fright. Like up until I would say 2016, 2017, when I started performing, I would be shaking.
The hoops go flying.
yeah, sometimes that would happen. And so I've been able to work through that, but there's been a lot of things that I've had to work through, like that imposter syndrome. Like, there's other people that are better than me or that have been doing this longer than me. Do I really deserve this? Is this, you know what I mean?
Right.
Should I be taking this from them or something like that?
I
just
had
a lot of that.
I had that I guess sometimes I still get that, like with the podcast. Sure. Like when I first started doing this, I'm like, I suck at podcasting. Like I'm not that person. That person does a really good podcast. But then you sit there and think like, okay, well, people are wanting to come on and people are wanting to talk to me. Mm-hmm. And it's obviously I'm not going to be that person. Right. I'm my own person. This is its own thing.
Exactly.
And it is what it is.
Yeah.
And it just, as long as it is what it is and you put your effort and everything into that, then it,
exactly.
That's what it is.
You don't want to be a copycat. You
No,
want
you
to be
don't.
original. And that's part of branding too, is like, it was kind of confusing when I first started my business and where I am now, where it like, when I first started, I was like intentionally trying to portray like an image that would attract people to my business and want to hire me. But now it's like, I have my own voice and I'm just my vulnerable, like open self. I don't like to share too many personal things about my life, but at the same time, I guess basically what I'm saying is people enjoy talking to you because you're authentic.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what they look for. And I listened to some of your episodes and I think you sound great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you sound very professional. You don't you sound like you're actually listening and that you're interested in what people have to say, and I think that's really important. As a podcast host.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Of course.
What's the name of your business?
So it's officially called Nat Spinz Motley Misfits LLC, and I went with that name because I already know that it's going to expand into more than just hula hoops and fire dancing.
Okay.
It's going to be an accumulation of performance artists, and we're just going to be this kind of. I have this image in my head of like the Justice League of like flow artists, of like just
So what is the business that you formed? Is it a place for other artists, or I guess performers, not artists? Sorry. I guess you kind of would, you'd be an artist, for other performers to come and like what would it be?
So my dream is for this business to continue beyond me. So when I get to the point where I can't perform anymore, nobody wants to see my body in skin tight costumes anymore, so other people will be able to do that. I want to provide entertainment for events and festivals and things like that. And I want people to know that they can come to me for entertainment and kind of have like an a la carte of entertainers that they can choose from.
Oh, okay.
This is like a one-stop shop for your entertainment needs.
Now, would you help possibly with like marketing, like other art or other performers and
yes, absolutely.
Creating other like events?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's kind of what we do in Charlotte. So
okay.
Even though it's Flames and Dames is what our group is called, we're just, the three of us. So Nat Spinz, Anna Faye, and Paige Marie, we're the three main people in Flames and Dames. But we bring on other artists or fire performers to perform with us that are also being paid for their work, and we promote them as well with special guests so-and-so. And we want to get the word out that there's, yes, we do like hula hoops and fans and dragon staff, but this person also offers these things, and he does solo work, and he's professional, and and give them an opportunity to gain experience and all of that as well.
Cool. So
does that answer your question?
So Flames and Dames, that's the three of you. That's your group.
Yes.
Okay. So when you guys do like an event together, or when you do an event, you're doing it with these three people
Yes.
or two people.
Yeah, two
You're
other
the-
people.
you're-
Yeah, us
you're
three.
the third person.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many events are you doing a week or a month?
So, I work with Flames and Dames, and then I also do my solo work. So I would say Flames and Dames is probably doing 4 to 5 events a month.
Wow.
Where not including that, during the summer, I was averaging about, let's see, like 12 a week ish.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah. Like my summer months are I got really lucky. So I do like school assemblies and
okay.
daycare centers, and I do like a hula hoop science show and things like
cool.
that. And I travel all over Michigan and sometimes out of state to teach kids
Wow.
about flow arts and following their dreams and don't let anybody tell you can't do it kind of stuff, you know? And then that's what I do Monday through Friday. And then a lot of times on the week, I'll have like gigs on the weekend for Nat Spinz, like separate from the school assemblies.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
So you're for hire. People can be like, hey, come to my birthday
Yes,
party.
absolutely.
Oh,
Yes.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I might have to hire you at some point.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
So you kind of said that you came from a more conservative type background with your family, or was that your husband?
My husband.
Okay,
My
so
ex-husband.
when you took up hula hooping, what did people say? Because obviously, if you were to tell somebody, "Hey, I'm going to start doing hula hooping," they'd be like, "What?"
So I can tell you that I've received very little approval from my family on the hula hooping. I've even gotten kind of made fun of about the fact that I'm in my 30s and I'm playing with hula hoops for a living. But at the same time, that's kind of my
rude.
message to people is like, don't stop playing.
Right,
like that's the
right.
key to happiness is don't forget to make time to play.
Mm-hmm.
But with the disapproval of my family and my ex-husband and how they kind of pick on me about it, like I have received so much more positivity from outside sources, just people feeling inspired or, thank you for that reminder and all of that. So, yeah, not really supportive in my family, but more support from friends and people that have seen our shows and kind of read my blog posts and things like that.
What about now? Now that you're successful doing it and people can see that you've made a living doing it?
Not
No?
really.
No?
No.
They haven't come around?
Not at all. No. I think they see. I don't know if they would consider it success. I don't really know. It's hard because they're very old-fashioned in their ideas of success. I did go to college, but I didn't get my degree, and that's probably the biggest disappointment.
What did you go to college for?
Well, originally I went to college for criminal justice because I wanted to be a police officer, and I was doing really well with that and 4-pointing in school, and then I had my second baby and I couldn't continue doing it. I did eventually change my major over to creative writing since I've been doing like writing type things since I was very little. And I still don't have my degree, but I'm about 1 semester away from getting that degree. Yeah.
Are you going to go back?
I should. I'm avoiding it because I have to do, they have like the Common Core classes, and I am horrible when it comes to math, and I've just been like avoiding it.
I hear you.
I don't want to do math.
I'm terrible at math.
Yeah. That's the only thing keeping me from my degree.
Oh my gosh.
So funny.
Yeah, I had to do first grade math the other day, and I'm like, what? This makes no sense.
I know, I feel that. How old are your kids?
My daughter's 6 and my son is 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have an 11-year-old and a almost 7-year-old. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your 7-year-old's, I'm assuming, in 2nd grade?
Well, she's in 1st grade.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, and then your 11-year-old's?
She'll be 11 this year, and she is in 5th grade. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine once my kids get into 5th grade what kind of like math I'm going to be able to do. There's no way.
I'm so lucky that she's good at math. I'm like, sometimes she'll ask questions, and I'm like, let's bring up YouTube and see if we can find the answer to this, or ask your teacher.
So what does your kids think about you hula hooping?
they think it's pretty cool. So I think it's kind of a mixed bag. Like on the one side, my oldest, she's kind of getting to that age where mom isn't as cool as she used to be anymore, not so dependent on me.
Right.
But at the same time, she admires that I'm a strong person, and that's something the other day she was telling me about. I want to grow up to be strong and do my own thing too, just like you. But on the other end of it, she is sick of the hula hoops everywhere. She's like, yeah, that's great. My youngest, she's a big time mama's girl, and she brags all the time. My mom's a fire dancer and stuff. Yeah. So it's mixed. Yeah.
So when you got into hula hooping, did you have the intentions to start doing hula hoops with fire? When did you get into the fire aspect of it?
So, no, I didn't think I was going to do fire first going into it. In fact, I've seen other people do it, and I thought it was stupid. Like, that's just so dangerous. You know, that mom side of me, like, that's just so dangerous. And like, what is the point in doing this? But it was about a year in that I changed my mind. So a couple of my friends, so Anna and Paige, who are in Flames and Dames with me, and our friend Yusuke, we went on a field trip kind of thing to Detroit to go to the Detroit Fire Collective, where they have a community out there, and they do every Monday. They have a flow jam where you can go out there and meet your community. There's poi spinners, dragon staffers, hula hoopers, and any prop you want to bring. There's people there you can ask questions. It's wonderful. And then at the end of the night, they hold a fire safety meeting, and they go through the ins and outs of fire safety. And if you complete the course, you can spin fire at the end of the night if you're wearing proper attire. You're surrounded by well-seasoned performers. And I brought my fire hoop with me because it was about like before we were getting ready to go to the field trip that I was like, okay, I'm going to get a fire hoop, and I think I might try it. I don't know for sure. I did my first burn there, and it was both terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. My heart was beating so fast, but at the same time, I was like, this is really cool, and I would love to keep doing it. Got some bass in here.
Way to go, Joey. Wow. Yeah. So that was the first time you ever did hula hooping on fire.
Yes.
Or what do they call it? What is it called?
Fire hooping
Fire
or
hooping,
fire dancing.
Fire
yeah.
dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only thing you do that with fire?
No, I've actually expanded to other props as well.
Okay.
So actually, hula hoop is not even my favorite prop anymore to spin on fire. I spin what's called a dragon staff, and it's basically a staff. It's about 5 feet wide, 5 feet long, and then it has these 3 spokes that stick out the sides of it on each end. And the idea is to roll it down your body. And I've gotten to the point where I can kind of like spin it around my back and like do little flips with it. And it's badass. Like it looks like a battle weapon of some kind. It's so cool. It's my favorite prop.
Wow.
Yeah. You'd have to see it. I'll show you a video.
Yeah, I'll have to see that.
Yeah.
So do you have any like fire safe, like do you have a fire extinguisher nearby when you're doing it?
Yes, so we have a fire extinguisher nearby, but we don't use a fire extinguisher on ourselves. It's just for like the grass or something like that. If something were to light on fire on the ground, but we always have 1-to-1 safety to performer ratio.
Okay.
So there's always somebody standing by with a fire safety blanket. So if somebody were to catch on fire, we have steps that we take. So let's say I'm spinning fire and I light my leg or on fire, and Anna's safetying me. She'd say, "Nat, right leg," and then I'd freeze and I would try to get it out myself, but she would be right there to take it out with the fire blanket.
Okay.
Yeah. So
has it ever happened?
So not very often, honestly. We know it's really important to keep the fire moving. You don't want to just sit there like this, otherwise it'll give more of a chance to catch us on fire. But we also wear like cotton, 100% cotton is really good to wear. Natural fibers. We avoid like polyester and things that melt towards the skin.
Okay.
Whereas cotton, if it lights it burns away from the skin.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So is this something that you've thought about teaching people, like maybe doing courses? I mean, I would assume that because you're obviously busy in the summertime. Does it slow down in the wintertime? Would this be something that you'd be interested in doing?
Absolutely. Actually, this is something we've been talking about a lot. So the only thing keeping us from being able to build a community where we can teach other people flow arts in the Lansing area and teach people how to do fire performing is that we need something like an indoor space that has like a concrete floor, someplace we can go in the wintertime where we're not going to be freezing our asses off while we're teaching people how to do it. But absolutely, we want to hold workshops. We want to bring more people into the community if we can. Yeah.
So putting that out into the ether.
Yeah, absolutely. I am saying it as often as I can. Like, we need an indoor space, some place big and open with concrete floor that we can teach in.
Is this something you're looking to do under your business, your personal business?
So this wouldn't be something that would necessarily go towards my business. It's more of something that we, as Flames and Dames, us girls, we want to bring more community together. It's more of a personal endeavor for us to build a community in Lansing. There have been, flow jams in the past that were hosted by Lansing Hoops, but I don't know, and that's another business owned by Missy Cook. She's a friend of ours as well, but they're not doing them anymore. So we want to make it like a consistent thing that people can come to and can grow. One place, just like the Detroit Fire Collective, but here in our area.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would imagine that a lot of young people would be interested in doing that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's because it's physical exercise, right?
Right.
You're pretty active.
Yeah, it's not only physical exercise, but I'm telling you that like the active flow is it's good for the mental health too. Like, I know, especially if I'm listening to a song that's inspiring to me and I'm moving with the hula hoop or whatever prop I'm spinning, my mind is just empty. Like, I'm just going with the flow, just feeling the music. And I know that there's probably a lot of young people, I remember being a younger person and struggling and not really have anybody to talk to and not having an outlet. I just think that if we had a home for a flow arts community, that a lot of young people it would help them with that, with their mental health and physical health and all of those things, and make friends. And
absolutely. And it helps people to have a sense of community. I mean, it's kind of like going to a gym or, like a CrossFit gym or whatever, like you go there, you do whatever you're doing and you're doing it with other people. So you're all kind of struggling together.
Yeah.
And it makes you have the sense of community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the funny thing is about flow artists too, that we joke about is like, a lot of us are just kind of socially awkward people anyways, and so it's like, all are welcome,
Right.
Non-judgmental, because we're all weird. We just, like, we're playing with flow props and just hanging out and enjoying music. And
that's kind of funny. 'Cause doing this podcast, I've met a lot of different artists and no performers yet. No, not nobody like you.
Okay.
But all the artists that I've had on, they're all different. Not necessarily like outcasts or anything like that, but they're unique in their own way.
Eccentric.
Eccentric. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're right about that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I don't remember what I was going to say. I was going to say something. I don't remember what it is now. So where do you see this in the next 5 years? Flames and Dames, your business, everything.
I would like to see kind of what I mentioned earlier. Within the next 5 years, I would like to have a website built with a shit ton of performer options, and people can go on this website and do like an a la carte thing of what, they can go on our calendar and see if this person is available on this date, and they can hire them for their wedding receptions or festivals or something like that.
That would be a wild wedding.
Right. Wouldn't that be badass? Yeah. We actually, we do LED performances too. So some
cool.
venues don't allow the fire.
Right.
And so we have LED props that we can perform with, and we did a wedding reception not too long ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So within the next 5 years, I would like to see us expand to other acts. And I would like to see more people reaching out to me to hire these acts so we can get more performers work. Because a lot of times, what happens is we'll give a quote and they're just like, oh, we're not going to pay that much. Or or people want performance artists to work for free. Oh, you'll get exposure and stuff like that, and that's great to a certain extent. And we have no issues with doing community work.
Right.
But for a lot of us, this is our bread and butter or our
Right.
dream, and we put hundreds of hours of work into this. Our insurance is expensive.
Oh, I bet.
Stuff like that. So
Liability. I couldn't imagine.
Right. There's a lot that goes into it. And so what I would like to build on is an appreciation for the arts, and to get these performers paid for their hard work. They deserve to have the job that they want, and their dream job.
Are the other performers that you work with, are they paid?
Yes, I pay them.
Oh, wow.
We have done community events, so our Charlotte events for the longest times, we got paid in tips alone.
Wow.
We got our first sponsor for the last one, so we were actually able to get paid
Oh,
like
cool.
what we normally
Who's
would.
your sponsor?
Reflections Boutique in
Okay.
Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really cool and unexpected. And because of that sponsorship, we were able to bring on Creature of One and do live music for the first time.
Oh, okay.
So we were flowing to a live
sweet.
band. It was so badass.
How did you do it before?
So I bring out my Bluetooth speaker, and we have our song lists. We have a set
Okay.
list that we go by, and then
Okay.
we just go through the songs that we picked out for each act that we do.
So what
Yeah.
kind of music are you doing this to? Is it like techno? I would imagine that some of it would have to be techno.
That's the cool thing about our group is like the three of us are so different. So like I'm 10 years older than the other girls
Country
in the group.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be so fun. So I mostly like hip hop and R&B or
Like what?
Or pop music. Like I like a lot of Michael Jackson music.
Oh, okay.
But then I feel like Anna likes a lot of EDM, and Paige probably is a mix of both, like
Okay.
pop and EDM type music. So, but we all have like our different dance styles too. So one of my favorite songs to dance to is it's called "The Business" by Tiesto. It's
Don't know
it. I don't know. It's a sweet song. I like that one a lot.
Okay, I have
yeah.
to check it out.
But yeah, pretty much any Michael Jackson song. Yeah. I'm pretty basic when it comes to my music choices too. They're always like, this one again. I'm like, I'm a creature of habit. Okay. I know this one.
That's hilarious. So you're currently in the market for having other sponsors then too.
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I've been hosting the Charlotte Fire Flow Jam series. This was my fourth year doing it.
Wow.
And it started off with just some people who did fire dancing as a hobby. We did it in the back parking lot of Windwalker Underground Gallery in Charlotte.
Okay.
Excuse me. And it's slowly expanded to like professional level fire performers, and we've been moved to the old courthouse museum, which is smack dab in the middle of the town of Charlotte. And it's like if you go through Charlotte, it's like you can't miss it. It's like on the main two roads there.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Last Friday, we were driving by, we were heading home, and I'm like, hey, here's I don't know what I said, the fire event, or because I didn't really know.
There it is.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder if that's the girl that's supposed to come on the podcast.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't miss it, which
Right.
is cool. So do you typically do it at nighttime because it adds to the effect?
Yes, you can see the flames a lot easier. And then
Yeah.
we get out our LED props sometimes too, and you can see those a lot better at night. So we usually do it from 9 to 10,
Okay.
either on a Friday or a Saturday night.
How do you keep the props lit?
So we use camp fuel, like white gas,
Okay.
like Coleman's camp fuel.
Okay. You just dip it in it?
Yeah, so there's these little marshmallow things at the end. They're wicks, and we just dip it in the fuel, and then we spin off any excess fuel that's on the wicks, and then we light them up. And each performance is about 4 minutes long.
Okay.
Sometimes
The length
little
of a
less.
song.
Yeah, just about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And oh my gosh, I don't remember. I'm sorry. This is like I said, this is my first podcast back since I've been sick and my kids have been sick. So
no problem.
my brain is like trying to get back into this. It's
no pressure. No, it's totally fine.
So you have one sponsorship and you're looking for more. You're looking for a space.
Yes, primarily we are looking for a space that.
How big of a space?
I have a location in mind.
You don't, do you want to list it?
I would love to. So, I live in Charlotte, and we have the Eaton County Fairgrounds there, and like they have the main building that's right up front where we have the saloon for Frontier Days.
Okay. Yeah.
The inside of that building is huge. It's all cemented on the ground. It would be perfect for the community, for like a flow arts community. The thing is in the wintertime they use it for storage. And so there was another event coordinator in town I had met with recently who was saying, man, I wonder if we could find a way that they would make their money that they would for storage, and we can use it for these events throughout the wintertime
Yeah.
as well.
Why not?
So that's something that is in the works, but
Have you talked to anybody about it?
not yet.
Not yet.
I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I get a little like maybe I'm asking too much. I should just go for it, because the worst
That's
they could say
imposter
is
syndrome.
no. I know it is. It is. The worst they could say is no. So,
That is the worst they can say.
yeah, maybe I will. I'll get a hold of them tomorrow.
You will.
I'll do
You
it.
will.
I'm gonna
You
do
will.
it.
You'll do it. Just go get that Big B coffee.
Yeah. Right. Or Starbucks.
Or Starbucks. Drive to Lansing and get Starbucks.
Currently looking for a Starbucks sponsorship or Vans, because we all wear Vans as well.
Vans?
Yeah.
No Converse?
I wear Converse too, but
Okay.
but I do like Vans better because they're a little more wide in the front.
Okay.
Like the suede ones are a little bit more comfortable.
I know what I was going to ask you when my brain went dead. Do you guys do any like comedy acts like with
Huh. Well,
you know what I'm talking about, like if you, I don't know. I guess I don't know how to explain it, but is there like a way to make what you guys do like a comedic act?
oh yeah, absolutely. I don't know that we've ever done any comedic acts, but I have tried to put one together before, kind of where, like I'm dressed like some raggedy clown or something like that, and the hula hoop is misbehaving, and like if I step on it a certain way, like with my heel, it comes up and smacks me in the butt or something, and like that kind of thing.
How does that go over with a crowd?
Well, I practiced it at home. It wasn't
okay.
something that I've done for a live audience before. But with that said, we are going to be doing more choreographed acts going into next year. So we did our final show of the 2021 series last Friday, and we did our finale was a choreographed fire performance, choreographed dancing. And we discussed doing more of that next year. So who knows? Maybe there'll be a comedic choreographed one in there too.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, if there's a way to do it, that'd be cool and entertaining. I would think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would be cool. I'm trying to figure out how we would do it with fire, but I think we could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you would do it without it being like cheesy.
Well, yeah, but the cheese might be funny too.
That's true. It could be. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if we like fully commit to the cheesiness.
Absolutely.
Like
yeah.
pretend like we're unaware of how cheesy it is.
So, would you consider yourself a professional?
At this point, yes.
Yeah. And is there actual like professionals out there? Like is there like a celebrity following of this?
I would say yes. There are people that I follow like on Instagram who are, they have huge sponsorships like by Fireball, and like they travel to like Las Vegas and do shows. One of them is Grace Good.
Okay.
She's actually come to Michigan before for a hoop dancing event that we have in Charlotte called Spin Sanity Flowdown, where you set world records there and there's like live performances, and she came out for I think the first year of that event, and then she's just blown up since then.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So is this something that you've thought about getting involved in, like competing? I'm assuming there's competitions. There has to be competitions.
There
right?
are. Yeah, for funsies. Yeah, I would totally do it for
funsies.
fun. But I did Spin Sanity the first year. But because I have kids, I don't know that I could like travel as much as she does. Like I couldn't take it to that level myself, but maybe some of the people under the Motley Misfits or some of the people I know would be able to do something like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Because I know, like, for myself, anything I do, it's like it has to be a competition.
Yeah.
Like, I have to compete at something. And so I would imagine, like, if I were to get involved in this, I'd be like, how can I compete?
Oh yeah, like kind of watching your competitors and stuff. Like, okay, yeah, I could do that. I could do. All right, I got to work on this thing. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, there's a little bit of that
Yeah.
for sure. But I feel like the flow community is so small, and where there are some bad apples, just like any community. For the most part, we all love and support each other. I mean, there are people that I guess like a couple of my friends I had mentioned, like Missy Cook and Jenny Wags, who also have their own hula hooping businesses that they're working on. It's
What are their businesses called?
well, so it's Yoga Round was the yoga and hula hoop
Right.
mashup, and
Yeah.
then Lansing Hoops. I'm not sure what she's into right now, but she throws the annual Michigan Hoop Dance Retreat.
Okay.
And that's always really cool too. Both of them teach classes here and there and stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel like where we could be considered competition, it doesn't feel that way. We're all very supportive. We share each other's work. We encourage
Right.
each other.
It's more of like an art type of thing. It's not
Yeah,
something
I want
you.
to see you
It's not like a
succeed.
sport.
Right. The world's
Yeah.
big enough for all of us. So like, yeah, we all just bring in our different flavors, I guess.
Now, do you currently have a website?
Yeah, so we have a couple of them. So my solo website is natspinz.com, and spins is with a Z.
Okay.
And then it's flamesndames.com. So not and, it's flames and then the letter N.
Okay.
Dames.
That's on your shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So if somebody wanted to book you, how could they do that? Would they just go to your website? Would they find you on social media?
Well, they could email me, natspinz@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yep. Or we have flamesanddames517@gmail.com.
Okay.
So either one. Yeah, you can reach me at either. Oh, I also have a business phone number that I can't ever memorize that I can give you if anybody wants to give me a call, or if you have an idea of some sweet event that we can make happen.
Or a sponsorship.
Or a sponsorship.
Or a location.
Vans. Or Big B. Or here we go. Here's my phone number if y'all want to text or call me. It's 810-373-2302 for a good time.
People are going to call you nonstop now.
You said a good time. That's not what I meant.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. So what kind of sponsorships are you looking for? I mean, because you're sponsored by a boutique in Charlotte.
Yes.
Are you just looking for anybody?
I mean, it would be preferable to be some of like things that would be useful to us, I like to stay authentic.
Yeah.
I was thinking we use white gas. Is there like a company that sells, like, I know there's like propane businesses, and maybe
Right.
they have white gas or something, and they'd be willing to sponsor our fire shows. Also, I wasn't kidding about Vans. We all wear Vans and we wear them out. And like, if we could get a sponsorship with them, that would be amazing.
Have you ever tried reaching out to them?
I actually did just like 3 days ago. They have this thing on their website right now about like, hey, if you're an artist and you have an idea in mind, we might be willing to pay for it or something
wow.
like that. And so I submitted a picture of us and a description of what we do and what we're looking for, and hopefully they like it.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. Yeah.
I've reached out to some big companies for sponsorship. Like at the start, I'm like, yeah, this is going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And the companies that I reached out to, they were like, no, we're not sponsoring anybody right now, but we will send you a bunch of stuff. And so they sent me, like, Jockey was one of them.
What? That's cool.
Because I was in the Jockey store, and they were like, would you like to donate money for people in foster care? It was like some thing that they were donating money to, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I was in foster care.
Yeah.
And then I found
wow.
out that the CEO is passionate about it because she was in foster care, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to her. So I reached out to her to come on the podcast, and she declined. But because of that, they were like, we'll send you a bunch of stuff. And so
That is so cool.
I literally got like $400 worth of clothes.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is so cool. So
Yeah.
were you sharing like part of your story with her? And
I might have
Yeah.
told her a little bit about my past and why I'm doing the podcast and whatnot. And they were like, oh, that we really like what you're doing, keep doing it, but she declines.
I love that. That is so cool.
Yeah, it was cool. So, and they're like, because you reached out to us and took the time to to tell us your story a little bit, we'll send you some stuff. And I'm like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
I was just wanting somebody to come on.
Wow, that is so cool, dude.
Yeah.
I there's so many big businesses out there that they use their power for evil and not good.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I see these big successful businesses doing good things in the world, it's just like, it gives me hope for humanity still.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's cool as heck.
Well, and I think a lot of times too is people will oftentimes, like when you see like a big CEO like of Jockey or something, you're like, oh, they're just some rich fuck.
Yeah.
But these people came from nothing too at some point, or they might have come from nothing. They have a story, and that's what made them successful.
Yeah. So, absolutely.
Yeah.
It seems like a common where, I mean, there's a couple different ways people can go, but it seems like the driven people who might be more perfectionists or harder on themselves or don't make enough time for themselves and put like everything into their work might have come from some weird background, right?
Right.
Some kind of trauma to make them like that.
Yeah, you either go a couple different ways, like you said. You just kind of follow that same path and you don't do anything. You sit around and you become homeless or whatever. You don't want to work, or you go the other way. We're like, okay, I'm not going to be that,
right?
And I'm just going to do everything I can to not be that. Yeah. And as long as you're doing that and you're putting all your effort, like we said in the beginning, into whatever you want to do, it will more than likely be successful.
It will. Yeah.
You just got to put the time and the effort and the passion. It's all about passion.
People will see that.
Yeah. And you want to be genuine.
Right. Yeah. That's absolutely true. Because one of my favorite sayings is like, your vibe will attract your tribe. So
I love that.
I love that saying too, right? Because what happens is like, like I was saying earlier in my life, I was doing everything that I thought I was supposed to appease all these other people that no matter what, it wasn't enough because there's something wrong in them, not me.
Right.
And it came to a point where I was like, well, if I do my own thing, they're not going to approve anyways either. So I might as well do it for me.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is when I started living my more authentic life, and it took a lot to figure out what that was, like, what do I even want? Then these people started attracting to my life that actually belong there. Like that, because I'm giving my truest version of myself and putting myself out there into the universe, the people that I'm connecting with are my real like friends, or I'm really connecting or resonating with them.
And they're the most supportive too.
Right.
They're the ones that they're always there to support you and root you on.
Yes.
I mean, that's one thing I've seen with this podcast. It's either made people angry, people don't like what you talk about, or there's people that are like, I like what you're doing, keep doing it, regardless of like how crappy an episode is. Like I've had some really bad ones, especially in the beginning. Like I'm just learning how to interview people and whatnot. People are always either gonna like it or they're not. And the people that can see that there's more to it, that there will be more to it, are the supportive ones, and they're the ones that are always like, hey, just keep going.
Absolutely.
Just keep going.
And you kind of have to go through that, like, there's no getting around that phase of not knowing how to do it until you do it.
Yeah.
Right? You got to suck for a little while before you figure it out. Yeah.
It sucks.
It's embarrassing, right?
It's so embarrassing. Like, I don't want to publish this one.
Yeah, but that's awesome that you trucked through it.
Yeah, I mean, still I have some rough episodes. Like this episode, I feel like it's rough.
Really? I think it's going great.
Think so?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's rough. I'm like,
No,
taking time off is not good.
Yeah, but it's good for you. That's something I think. It seems like you're probably a lot like me in that you probably do a lot of work, and maybe don't, like, you might feel guilty when you take time for yourself a little bit.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay to take rest.
Dude, your phone is vibrating the whole table. And that's the thing too, is like when I'm interviewing somebody, I'm like, okay, I want it to be point. I don't want there to be like this is how it was. I didn't want it to be like any silence, I guess. I wanted it to be kind of like a smooth
flow,
conversation, but that's not how conversations go all the time. Sometimes, you're sitting there for a minute, like thinking, and it's just, it is what it is.
Right,
So.
exactly. And this is kind of a strange conversation dynamic too, because like a lot of times when you're having conversations, there's a lot of questions back and forth or something like that. So it's more, it's kind of a different conversation dynamic.
And it is, and you got to learn your guest.
Yeah.
You know, you have to kind of get the, like, how you got to feel them, like,
Yeah.
you know, like get their vibes, like you have a good vibe, like
Thank
you're
you.
relaxed. I can tell you're relaxed. You're just kind
Yeah.
of sitting there chilling. But you know, there's some people I interview, I'm like, I don't know, like if they like what I'm saying, or
Yeah.
you know, it's
Like deadpan. just-
yeah.
Like, I don't really want to be here.
This guy's an idiot. I don't know why I agreed to this.
I'm weirded out. This looks like an interrogation room. Like, am I under arrest? Does he work for the IRS? What's going on?
That's hilarious. So it looks like we're 54 minutes in.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any shout outs you want to give?
Any shout outs? Let me see. I want to give a shout out to my best friend Bree. So, you know how I was saying like your vibe attracts your tribe. Well, you know, my friend Bree has been, oh man, my rock through a lot of the changes in my life, and divorce, and me after divorce trying to figure out who the F I am as a single mom, and like still having this crazy dream of being a professional hula hooper, and just she watched me fail over and over and over again, but she still stuck it through all the mental health stuff, and like I don't know that I would be here today without her. So I want to give a shout out to her because she's like a sister. She is my sister. So
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bree. You're
Shout
dope.
out to Bree. You are dope as hell, girl.
All right. And again, you can be found on social media. You
Yep.
have a website. I will put all of that in the show notes.
Okay,
So,
sweet. Do you want me to like send you anything, or?
I don't think so.
Okay, you got
No.
everything? Sweet.
Yeah, I'll just look up on social media
Okay.
and find your stuff.
You are
so.
prompt. I like that. You're on the ball. Oh,
I
no.
try to be.
What did I do?
I don't like my guests to have to do work, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Less work is good.
Yeah. If you agree to an interview, that should be the work.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't have to take any more time out of your day to send me stuff.
I like that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take notes because, like, you know, eventually I might start my own podcast.
There was this girl that I did a podcast with, and I really like her. She's a really nice girl. She does her own podcast, and it was over Skype or something.
Mm-hmm.
I had to download some app to record myself and then send it to her, and I had to edit, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm the one being interviewed.
Yeah.
Your guest should not have to do any work. Like,
Yeah.
you should be the one doing the work,
Agreed.
and it should be effortless
Yeah.
for them. So
Yeah. Yeah, I always assumed that interviews were just or podcasts were just live, or either over the phone or face to face, but we were asking and discussing things live, right?
well, it's not live,
Or you know what I
But it
mean,
can
but it's
be.
all in one recording.
right? Yeah.
But the way she had done it was like she sent you the questions and then you recorded yourself separately or
Nope,
something?
nope. It was a live interview.
Oh, okay.
So we were talking, but I recorded myself. But in order for her to get my recording, I had to edit it and like finalize it and send it to her.
Oh my gosh.
And she never ended up getting it, and I never ended up doing the she never published that episode.
Dang.
So yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I have no idea how to do this. It was some app I've never used.
Oh wow.
yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, and when you decide to start a podcast, let me know, and I will have you back on to talk about it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
Right.
idea what you'd call it?
Well, grow with the flow.
Girl with a flow. I like it.
Yeah.
You have good names.
Thanks.
I like it.
Thanks. It took me a minute to come up with that.
Yeah, I like it. It seemed like you just knew.
Yeah. Feels right. Feels right.
And you said, I'm sorry, I know we were wrapping this up, but you said that it would just be you and possibly interviewing other people, or would you have like a co-host?
So it would just be me. So I've been doing personal writing basically since I was in the second grade, like all
Okay.
my life. I have all of these journals that I've been, and like I have a unique story. I was like homeless for a long time when I was younger. And
Why weren't we talking about this?
I know, but there was just so much to cover. Like literally, it's just there's so many boxes in the back room that I haven't really opened up yet.
Okay.
And that's the kind of stuff is like I've been through the ringer. I went through the ringer at a very young age. And I feel like because I've been able to overcome this stuff, and I mean, I still have things that I battle with and like traumas and things, but I want to tell other people you can do it too, and use my life as an example, and like, here are some things that I did. Maybe this will help you. But it'll be like therapeutic for me to kind of like sort out and talk about these things that I've kind of kept to myself.
Yeah.
But then also, I hope that inspires other people.
I think it for sure will.
Even when I was going through the stuff, just as a younger kid, I've always been like spiritual, not religious, but like, I'm going through this for a reason. I'm going to use this someday. I don't know if it's going to be writing a book or something, but there's no way in hell that my story is just going to be contained inside of me. Like, I have to share it. So I was going to use podcasting as an outlet for that, and then also bring on other people.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Podcasting is perfect for telling your story. And
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I started this, was to tell my story.
Yeah.
You know, I was homeless at one point too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's why I was like, we should have talked about that.
Yeah.
Like, I could relate in so many different ways.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy. And
Yeah.
you obviously were able to overcome
Right.
a lot of it. I mean, obviously you still struggle with things. We all do.
Yeah.
But you have an outlet.
Right.
You have a way to express yourself, and
Exactly. And I'm able to convert it into good.
right.
I've been able to find a place to put that bad energy.
Yeah.
That isn't like, why, you know, why did you do this, or why did this happen?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people obviously look up to that. Like, I mean, they have you at their events, you know, or
Yeah.
you go to schools and you give your inspirational speech, and
Right.
then people can see where you came from and where you are now.
Right. Exactly.
It's really cool.
Cool.
I like that.
I think we'll have to have another conversation.
We're going to.
We're gonna need to.
We're going to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously you need to sort through your stuff first.
Yeah,
And,
right.
you know, but it's been awesome. It's been a
Yeah.
pleasure. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's been enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.